Welcome to the Collab Lab online tutorial of Adobe Illustrator. So once you have Illustrator open, you're going to want to come over here to Create New, and the New Document box will open up. You can choose one of the presets up here in Print if you're doing one of those, or you can just start typing. You'll want to change it to inches. The letter is automatically 8.5 by 11. Or you can change it to 11 by 17 or whatever size you need just by clicking in the boxes and typing something different. We're going to keep it at 8.5 by 11. In the orientation, you can change it to be horizontal in landscape or vertical in portrait. I am going to keep it in portrait. And then artboards are basically your pages. So if you need multiple pages, you can change that here. Once you're all set up, you can click create. And the first thing we're gonna do is create a shape. So if you come over here, these are all of your tools. We have the rectangle tool, and if you hold down or right click, you will see that there's also a circle, polygon, star, and a line. So you can click on any of these and then come over to your page and you just click and drag to create your shape. And then over here in the properties panel, and if you don't have this panel, you can come up to window and you can click on any of these to open up the panel that you're missing. This one is properties. The fill is the color inside the shape, so you can click on one of these presets, or you can come over to the color mixer and you can find a color that you want in here, and then it will apply to the shape. The stroke is the border on the outside, so if you do the same thing where you click here, you can change the color of it to whatever you want, and you can change the thickness of it right here. You can also change the colors over here. If you double click on this one, this is the fill, you can drag it around and choose a color. And if you click on this one, this is the stroke. So if you double click, it opens up this same color picker box. And of course, if you want to change the size of your box, all you have to do is click on it and then click on one of these white boxes and you can change the shape of it. If you want to move it around, all you have to do is click and drag. Over here is the layers panel, and this will have all of the things that you put on your document. So right now all we have is this rectangle, but when we add text or more shapes, each of them will appear down here. These little eyes control what you can see on the page. So if we had other shapes, those would still be visible unless we turned off the entire layer. If we decide that we want to keep this where it is and not mess with it, you can click this box right here, which locks it in place. So then it is not editable anymore and you can still change the things around it. If you need to unlock it, all you have to do is click the lock again and it will be movable and you can change the colors and everything again. Next, let's add some text. So over here is a T, and this is the type tool. All you have to do is click and drag to create your text box, and then you can type whatever you want. And if you select it, you can change the font. You can make it bold or italic. You can change the size. And you can make it center, right or left aligned, and different versions of justified. You can also change the color like you can with the shapes by coming up to the fill or using it over here to get the color picker text box. Illustrator also allows you to do something called type on a path. So if you hold down or right click on the type tool, you can select type on a path tool, and then you can select your shape and you'll be able to type around the shape. So if you just start typing, and of course then you can select the text to edit it. You can change the color, you can make it bigger or smaller, and your box automatically disappears so that the text is just sitting there. And if you want to rotate it around so that it's in a different spot, you just click on the box, and then if you come out on the sides, you get a little double-ended arrow that allows you to rotate it. And of course you can move this around anywhere. You can scale it just like you can with the normal shape or with the text. So let's say that you create something like a little design. But then you decide that you want to move it, but you want these to stay where they are. If you click and drag to select, we're going to have to make that smaller. If you click and drag to select, it selects all three of these, and then if you right click, you can choose group, and then these will all move together. So you can move them around, you can make them smaller or bigger, you can rotate them, and they will keep the positions that they had. If you're looking for other shapes than what Illustrator has over here, if you come up to Window and you scroll all the way down, select Symbol Libraries, you can come over here and select one of these. I'm going to do Nature. And then you have the option to choose any of these. And all you have to do is select one and then click and drag it onto your document. And then you can scale it and move it around just like you would anything else. And if you want to look at the other categories, all you have to do is use these arrows here. So you can look through these and click and drag them onto your document and just play around with them. If you want to keep the scale that Illustrator has set up, just hold Shift while you click and drag, and that'll make sure that it doesn't get distorted so that it's not weirdly long like this or too wide. That's holding Shift while you click and drag. Now we're going to get into what Illustrator is most known for, which is the pen tool. So over in the tools, it's this third one from the top, and I'm going to zoom into this white space on my document. And the pen tool allows you to create any kind of shape that you want. So if you click, this creates a dot so that you can create your first line. So to start off easy, I'm going to make a square, and to do that, all you have to do is click, 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 and click. And then if you come over to your selection tool, you now have this shape and you can edit it just like you would with Illustrator's generated tools. Now to do something more complicated, you grab the pen tool, click again, and then instead of clicking here, you're going to click and drag. And this creates a curve. And you can change this curve in a lot of different ways depending on what you want. We're just going to do a classic little curve. You can also edit the stroke and the fill as you go if you just come over here and change them. So after you put your curve down, you have the option to do another straight line. So you can do that by just clicking, or if you click and hold again, you can create another curve. If you end up with this curve right here after you have created a curve and you don't want this, all you have to do is click escape. You can edit a shape that you've made or a shape that you created in Illustrator. You have to click the second one, which is the direct selection tool, and then you select your shape, and if you click on one of your anchors, you can move it around. You can make it curved by grabbing this circle. You can just move them around to change your shape however you want. Then I am going to create a new artboard real quick. To do that, I click this artboard tool and then click new artboard. So now I have this new blank page. And I am going to import an image by going up to File, Place, finding the image that I want, and then clicking Place. I'll click and drag to the size that I want it, and now I have an image placed in Illustrator. You can change this by clicking on it and then just moving it around. And again, if you want to keep the scale, just hold Shift and that will scale it for you. With this image, you can do a couple things. You can come over here and crop the image. So if you decide that you want just this section, you can crop it and click apply. But the most powerful tool is when you click on this, you have the option to do an image trace. And there's a whole bunch of options, and you really just have to play around with it depending on what you're looking for. But if we click on high fidelity photo and you wait a couple seconds, it will create a vector version of the image. And then to change it, all you have to do is click this, which is open the image trace panel, and then you're able to change different things like the paths, the noise, the corners. The results will be different depending on the image and the different presets that you choose, but this is really helpful for different kinds of images. Something like this with the library, it isn't exactly the most helpful because the image is already high quality, but if you have a logo or something that you're trying to trace, this is the easiest way to do it instead of trying to use the pen tool and go around it. So once you're done in Illustrator, you can save by going up to File. And if you just click Save, you have the option to save as an Illustrator file, which is AI, or a PDF. So if you want to save it as an image, you have to go to File, Export. And you have to go to Export As, and then you have all of the options to do PNG, JPEG, TIFF, or whatever image file that you're looking to save as. And that is the Adobe Illustrator tutorial for the Collab Lab. If you have any other questions or need any other help, you can go to our website and live chat with us or email us, and we can help you out through that or through online video chat on WebEx. Reach out to us if you need help, and we have other resources on our website as well, and that is the Illustrator tutorial.